All right, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome on this October 10th at 10:30. We're ready to go. Today, in our webinar today, we're pleased to present TigerLogic's dashboard, and I'm happy to have Robert Burke here helping me do this. So we're going to get started. It's 10:31 here on the West Coast. So just real quick, some housekeeping. If for some reason you're having a problem, you can't hear me, please use the control panel on your webinar there, and you can just ask a question. There'll be somebody monitoring those questions as well. So, and then of course, please ask questions. That's what this is all about. We're trying to educate you guys, and the more questions, the better it is. So I think we're ready to get started. Oh, if you really having problems, you can also give us a call here, and someone will help you. The number here is 949-415-7778. That's 949-415-7778. So let's get started. Just a quick agenda. What I'm going to do is just tell you a little bit about us, what we're doing, what we're all about, and then get into the meat and potatoes of the presentation today, which is going to be dashboard. And that is a big topic. We're happy to have all you on. We have a good attendance today, nearly 50 people on board. So we do have you muted. When we have that many people on, it is kind of hard to manage all the conversations, so you are muted. And then we're going to get into the demonstration, which is what you really want to see. And then we're going to talk about availability and pricing. And of course, we'll wrap it up with some Q&A. So a lot of you know me. I've been doing this for a long time. And here at PickCloud, we have a mission statement here. And one of the things that we do is we continue to work in the multi-value market. But one of our goals here is always about preserving and rejuvenating the pick space. It's been around for a long time. People have been using this database for, gosh, 35, almost 40 years. And we're always looking for ways to preserve and rejuvenate. And this is a perfect segue into the product that we're going to talk about today. So a lot of people ask me, well, Mark, what are you guys doing now? Um, and we've kind of come up with some clever things. A few years back, probably 3, 4 years ago, when we were putting together multi-value systems, I quickly realized that these servers were so underutilized, and that's when I got exposed to products like VMware, and I realized that people can save a lot of money by virtualizing their server and not having to pay for a lot of equipment that you wouldn't use. And we all know in a PIC environment, it's a very thin application, especially over the web. And that's how we got into the cloud. But as far as performance, the system performed very well, and we weren't really using a lot of the hardware. So we started to virtualize. And then we thought about doing things in the cloud. And this, we're all about saving money and working with our clients. So we took a look at some of the capital expenditures versus operating expenditures. We found that people would spend anywhere from 5, 10, 15, up to $20,000 on a server, and they really didn't need that. And when you go into a virtualization environment, you only pay for what you're really using. So if you only need, 1 or 2 cores, you only pay for that. If you need more memory, we can add it. And the same thing goes for disk space as well. So we're all about that. And we've partnered up with a couple hosting companies where we can offer a fully managed environment where we're basically giving you a system that's up 99% of the time, 99.99%, 9959s on that. And that equates to probably you'll be down about 5 minutes a year. So we're real pleased to do that. And we launched this company at the beginning of the year. And we have customers slowly coming over to us. And it's worked out well. And especially worked out well in the PIC space because of our the bandwidth and the overhead used in a PIC environment is so thin that we never really have to worry about those kind of metrics when we measure coming in and out of a data center. And that's one of the main metrics that they use when they measure people that you pay for is usage and things like that. So well, let's get started. That's a little bit about us. Okay, before we get into it, I'm going to ask a quick poll question here. When we talk about dashboards, there's several types of dashboards. that we're looking for. And we have two types that I like to think of. One is operational, where we're looking at KPIs. They'll tell you if you're on target today, if you're going to meet your numbers. And of course, the second dashboard that we like to look at is the analytical dashboards to see if we're on targets for tomorrow. So let's go ahead and take the poll. I'll give you guys a minute to answer the question. What kind of dashboards are you looking for to represent your D3 database? So take a moment and vote, and we'll go ahead and gather those results in just a moment. Okay, it looks like most of you have voted, so let's go ahead and take a look at the results. Yeah, this is exactly what we see when we're out there. I'm going to say it's about the 70-30. So a lot of you are looking for more of an operational view on your dashboard as opposed to an analytical. So that's good. That's good information. Well, we're gonna get into that today. So we'll go from here. Just hand it off to Robert here so he can take us through here. So Robert, go ahead and we'll talk about the dashboard here, and then we'll go into a demo.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm here to talk to you and show you the TigerLogic dashboard. The dashboard is a reporting tool that uses pick basic subroutines to create widgets, and then the widgets make up the dashboards. So we'll take a look at that. You've got the capability to create charts, graphs, gauges, as well as text reports, HTML reports, anything that you want to graphically depict in a browser. Your D3 data can be presented to you. And so the dashboard actually is designed to bring data in front of you in various formats to help you run and manage a business, kind of like a dashboard in a car. You've got information right in your view to help you manage and drive your car. So the idea of a business dashboard is to put your business information in front of you to help you run your business. The TigerLogic dashboard is its own self-contained web server that runs on the D3 server. And that D3 server can be either Windows, Linux, or AIX. Some reasons why you might use the dashboard. It gives you a quick view of what's going on in your business. This is the bottom line. You may be used to getting paper reports or PDF reports that you scan through and look for information or try to spot trends. But those reports come out maybe monthly or quarterly or yearly. And then what you wind up with is a whole room full of printed reports that you go back and look up. And that information is probably available to you online. So if you wanted to see your report from the end of the year, last year, you could bring that report up. But once again, you're looking at a single report for a single time period. And we'll take a look at how flexible the dashboard can be to give you the data in front of you for different periods. Excuse me for that. Okay. The dashboards themselves are made up of pick basic subroutines. So to create the dashboards, you can leverage either your in-house or your outsourced pick basic programming to create the dashboards, and that's one of the services that the Pick Cloud company offers, I'm sure. And you can reuse the code that already exists in your application that you use to display your data in daily screens. And what you do is you retrofit that code to fit behind a widget in a dashboard, and we'll take a look at that. The summaries that you normally get are now presented in graphical form so that you can spot trends and either use it for analytical investigation or operational. And once again, we'll also take a look at each of those.
All right, great. Well, Robert, I'm going to hand it over to you so you can take us right into a demonstration.
Thank you.
This is, again, something that we really want to see, so we're looking forward to this. So, Robert, go ahead and let's see it.
Okay. I guess I'm sharing my screen now. Can everybody see that, I guess? Okay, this particular screen comes off of our website. If you want to learn more about the dashboard, just go to TL Pick Products, and we've got a slew of information out here about the TigerLogic dashboard, including the ability to register and try a free evaluation. So in conjunction with PickCloud, you can talk to them and get a dashboard evaluation, and they'll be happy to show you how it's useful to your company. We also give a little bit of an overview here of why you would use a dashboard and what the capabilities are. And what I'm really going to drill into here are some examples that we have up on our dashboard. So we'll be taking a look at that in just a second. First, I'd like to start with a dashboard that I have loaded on the laptop here. This will be the login screen. And so the security on the dashboard is controlled both at the login level and then per dashboard level. So we'll start up here in the administrator dashboard. This is where you would manage the whole dashboard environment, where you can set things like the personalization. So instead of branding it as TigerLogic, it now becomes your company's dashboard. You also get some other environmental things that you can set up, such as the time and the theme. If you have a particular color preference, you can change that in here. That one's a little bit loud, so we'll go back to the default theme. But just to give you an idea, it's very flexible in how you can set up your dashboards. You also have the capability of setting security for each of the dashboards. So for instance here, this first one, I can go in and I can specify that the users that are allowed to use this dashboard. Right now this one's set to anybody, but I could put individual usernames, and that would limit the dashboard so it can only be seen by particular people. So for instance, maybe your corporate level dashboards, you only want to be seen by your executives, or your operational dashboards by your managers on the front line. This is where you would set your security. So once you've got your dashboard set up and made available to your users, let's take a look at what they can actually look like. You can display your D3 data in chart form, and there's a whole library of different charts that you can use to back up your data. For instance, pie charts, column charts, spark charts, bar charts, donut charts, and there's a whole library of different charts. And each of these different widgets is what they're called. So this little screen here, this little chart here would be referred to as a widget. You can also put things like drop downs to change the view. And in some of the other demos we'll take a look at, some of the other charts, you can do things like put little check boxes to filter out different data. Besides these basic charts, you have some things that are backed up by what are called fusion charts. And these get a little more detailed, a little more graphical, things like spark charts that you can change with drop downs. Also things like funnel charts, where you can maybe take a look at your website visits and see how many of those visits were converted into downloads, how many of those were interested in buying your product, and how many actually purchased your product, so you can see you have a 3% success rate in your website visits and turning them into sales. You can do other things like present charts to users where you set goals and see how close you are to meeting your goal. So for instance, this particular chart here shows that your goal is $725,000 for a particular period, and you can see that where you were 2 years ago and where you are now. So you get a graphical idea rather than having to pour through an entire report to see where you are as compared to what your goals are. And that same data can be presented in different charts. So for instance here, your goal is 800,000 and you're sitting at 725,000, so you can see that you're almost met your goal for your July sales. So the ability to display your D3 data is unlimited in the presentations that you have available to you. In addition to just the charts and the Fusion widgets, you have things like maps, where there's an entire library of maps. And this particular one is a map of the United States, but your map library includes everything from a world map all the way down to individual states. So we take a look here at Vermont, and within that map, you've got the state broken up by counties, and you can do additional drill downs behind each of these counties, and so you can do multiple drill downs. So for instance, I could click on one of these counties and see what my sales were for that county. Let's just give you an idea of what the visual impact is of the dashboards. But you can also put operational things behind the dashboards. Like for instance, I can look at my D3 print queue. I have a couple of print jobs here. If I hover over one of them, it gives me a preview of what it looks like. I have the ability in this particular widget to print this report right from the screen. I could download it as a text file if I wanted to email it to someone, or I could even control the spooler where I can delete the jobs from here. So that's just to give you an overview of what the dashboards look like visually. So I'd like to take a look now at some of the examples we provide you on our website, and you can go to our website and take a look at these. The examples on our website are designed to give you an idea of how your dashboards can progress. What I'll show you here here's a text report that you may be used to getting on a daily or weekly, monthly, quarterly basis. And as you can see, it's got all the information you need. This is what you're normally used to seeing. This particular report is a 6-month sales report by territory. But the nice thing about the dashboard is that you can store these views of your reports. So instead of having to run a report for a different period, you can just use a drop down, and now I can see the 6-month sales report through September of this year. If I wanted to compare that in any way, I could go back as far as September of last year, and right now I've got a 2-year spread for the demo here, but you could get the idea of how much data you can put behind your dashboards. And I can also just isolate it to a particular sales rep and see how that particular guy is doing in his sales goals. But the power of the dashboard is that you can take that same data with that same pick basic subroutine behind it and start presenting it in more visually pleasing ways, such as just going from a table report to an HTML report. You can see now that for a particular salesperson, his goals were $40,000 in the period. He came in at $27,000. So you can color that in red to show the people that have missed their goals, and conversely, now I can go for this particular person and see that he's exceeded his goal, so that's in green. So you can start adding colors in and do other things that you can do in an HTML page within your dashboard. Now, using that same data, I can present the sales in different types of charts. This is a bar chart, and this is for everyone. But again, I can change the period without having to pull up a separate report. I can do all that from the dashboard. If I'm looking at this, say on a daily basis, or I'm watching my sales for the day, and I don't want to click keeping refresh, I mean, I can set the dashboards to auto refresh. So every 1 minute or every 5 minutes or every 15 minutes up to an hour, this dashboard will refresh with current data to your screen. You have that capability on all of the dashboards. So taking the same data further, you can now start getting to some really involved dashboards where you've got the sales per period and for everyone, or for just for one salesperson. And the same data that's presented in this period is also being used on other widgets on the same dashboard. So as you progress through the different capabilities of the same data, Now I can see everybody's sales goal and where they are in relation to their goals. I can depict the same data as pie charts. I can go ahead and click down, say, on this particular pie chart and bring that data up in a bar chart so you have multiple drill down capabilities. And of course the maps. This is a map of California. We look for the entire Southwest. I can see with the legend here, my heavy activity has been in Colorado for this sales period. So I can drill down into Colorado and I can see that I'm getting some moderate activity in Los Animas County, and I could drill down further. So that's just to give you an idea of how you can visually depict your data in several different types of dashboards. The magic behind the dashboards is in what we call widgets. You not only get a full library of widgets that come with the dashboard, but you have the capability to take those base widget templates, which represent all of the different types of charts and reports that you can create, and you can copy those for your own use and then edit those and create your own widgets. Once you've created your own widgets, to create a dashboard is very simple. We'll create one here. We'll call it Demo October. And we'll create, say, a three-column dashboard. And you can see down here in the template, I've got a header area, 3 areas for widgets, and then a footer area. And then to create the dashboard is just a simple matter of dragging the widgets and dropping them on the dashboard template. List you, or you can remove them, add another one. Okay, so I've just created a dashboard just by dragging and dropping the widgets. So if I save that, go back to my main dashboard, this is the one we created. I can tell because I've got some uppercase letters in there. And there it is. And it's that simple. If I wanted to change that, I could go in and remove widgets and add widgets as I needed to. When you're creating your dashboards, what you'll do is you'll lay out your pick files to make sure you've got all your attributes and descriptions correct. So this is probably very familiar to most of you if you're working with D3. The magic behind the widgets is pick basic, like I mentioned. And here is an example of the code, the pick basic code behind these widgets. So what we've done is we've taken a widget template, and you can see the highlighted areas are the code changes we needed to make. So as you can see, it's all pick basic. So once you have all of your pick basic written, your pick basic subroutines written in D3, it's a matter of just pointing those subroutines at these widgets and coming up with your data for your dashboards. What I'd like to show you is what we use internally here, both operationally and analytically, on a daily basis. This is what we call our call report. This is what I log into every morning when I come to work. And I've got the capability of seeing the calls for any period going back 5 years for any amount of months that I want to see. And what I can do is zero in on a particular bar called High Road /Pick Cloud. And I can see that in the last 6 months, I have one call that's still open for High Road, and that actually came in 2 days ago. But if I modify the presentation in the dashboard to include the closed calls. I can now see that we've worked with PicCloud in the past 6 months 10 times. And these are all the support calls that they've placed with us. And right from this particular dashboard, I have the capability of drilling down into each individual call and getting the details. So you can see that we worked with Mark Pick back in August. He called in with a question upgrading from 7.5 to 9.1. I can see that we got his description of what was going on. We gave him a solution and we closed the call. So operationally, this is what I use on a daily basis. I also have the capability of doing analytical investigation internally. Say if I want to see our calls by any particular call type, I can see that our most popular type of call is an installation call, which makes sense because that's where people have most of their questions. And going down, I can see where our concentration needs to be on our support staffing and training. Can also look at things like our support call surveys. For instance, for this particular technician, over the past 24 months, he's resolved 100% of his calls, and his satisfaction averages are either 99 or 98% in all categories. So I can see that he's doing a very good job for us. So that's just to give you an idea of what you can do with the dashboards and how you can present your data. So hopefully, if you have any questions, we'll be able to ask them. If you'd like to see any more, we'd be glad to show you more. And I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Mark.
All right, well, perfect. Well, let me grab that presentation back from you, and we'll wrap this up. Okay, we're ready for poll question number 2. One of the things that has come up is, what kind of browser does this work on? And Robert's going to get into that in just a minute. But let's just take a quick poll here, and you guys will see the poll question. What is your preferred browser that you like to use? Obviously, a lot of us started with Internet Explorer. Like myself, I've kind of moved over to the Google Chrome. It's worked pretty well. Just go ahead and select the one browser that you're using. And Robert's going to tell us a little bit later what browser is the preferred browser, or if the TigerLogic dashboard is supported by these 4 different browsers, or maybe there's another browser. Okay, just a couple left here. Looks like all of you have voted, so let's go ahead and share those results with you. Okay, good. It looks like Chrome's the leading browser, almost looks like about 45%, and then the old standby Internet Explorer, and then there's the Firefox is right there, and then of course Safari for the Mac users out there, and I think there was one other one. I didn't recognize the name of that browser, but that's a good indicator of the type of browsers that we're using. So we'll move on from here, which goes into, now let's go right into availability on this, because I know some people were just asking about that, but let me just go through this real quick. This is real important to know that currently today, as far as availability goes on the dashboard, you must be running D3, and I'll defer it to Robert in a second, but if you do look at the slide up here, we're looking at D3 on AIX 7.5.1 and D3 Linux, and of course D3 Windows 7.5.4 and above. So you can see that. So I think one of the questions, Robert, that came in, will this work with an MV base environment?
And Mark, currently the TigerLogic dashboard does not run on MV base, but we are aware of the increased requests from our MV base customers and VARs who want a dashboard solution. So as we go forward in our development and our product planning, we're keeping that in mind, and that's one of our priorities, is to provide a solution for MV base. Okay.
Good. I think you answered this question on the supported browsers. What about 9 and 10? Is that an issue, or is that?
Currently, Internet Explorer 7 and 8 display and work fine, including the ability to create the dashboards with drag and drop. Internet Explorer 9 and 10, everything displays perfectly. There is a problem that was introduced with Internet Explorer 9 where if you try to drag and drop the widgets to create the dashboards, there's some sketchiness as to how that actually presents after you create the dashboard on Internet Explorer 9 or 10. So you probably want to create the dashboards on an earlier version of Internet Explorer 7 or 8, or on any of the other browsers, Firefox, Safari, or Chrome. And then once the dashboards are created, they'll present fine to your users across Internet Explorer 7 through 10, as well as these other browsers that you have listed.
Okay, good. Good. You guys are all asking a lot of good questions. I know it's tough when you can't talk on the mic, but we keep them in. We're getting queued up here, which is good. So one of them was pricing, and this is perfect time to talk about this. The pricing, and I know that Janet is there from TigerLogic. She can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's 3 different levels of pricing that we have for the TigerLogic dashboard. There's a standard edition, of course, and then there's within the standard edition there's an unlimited version on that. And let me just display the rest of these here. Then there's the professional and of course the enterprise. We have the standard software maintenance agreement on the right. Now, Robert, maybe you can answer this question: what is the difference between standard, professional, and enterprise? What do you get with one over the other?
Okay, the standard edition gives you all the basic widget types, including HTML, table, the text widgets, the 2D and 3D charts, which include the line charts, area charts, bar charts, pies and donuts, as well as the ability to include RSS feeds into a widget, which I didn't give an example of, but which works quite well. You can subscribe a widget to an RSS feed that will be updated as feeds are added to that data source, and also includes the Pick Basic Code Editor. When you step up to the Professional Edition, you get everything the Standard Edition gives you, as well as the gauges, the bullets, the graphs, the funnels, the pyramids, and the spark charts. So those were like the Fusion advanced widgets that we looked at. And then when you go up to the Enterprise Edition, you add the interactive and data-driven maps. So that's the difference between the 3 editions.
Okay, beautiful, good. And as far as the pricing and all this is you can always get this information from the TigerLogic website, and we'll also have a copy of this presentation on our website right after the presentation, so you can check back. Now, Robert, a couple more questions here, and I know we're kind of running out of time here. Real quickly, someone asked, can you export the dashboard, any of those results, to like a PDF? I don't know if you showed that or not.
You have the ability to print some of the text space and the HTML reports, so that when you go to print, you could choose to print to a PDF printer, and that will work. Okay, the graphs themselves, you actually have to do a screenshot. Okay.
All right. What about, does this have to be installed on the same server as the D3? Someone asked that question.
Yes, the TigerLogic dashboard is a web interface, so there does need to be a web server behind it. And currently that web server does reside on the same machine that is running D3. Okay, good.
We have a question too. I know it has nothing to do with the dashboard. It was asked if there was any limitations of migrating into the cloud running D3 version 7.3. No, there's no limitation. The only requirement that we have is when you do want to move your D3 license into the cloud, is you must be on a maintenance agreement. We won't take anybody on unless they're on a maintenance agreement. That is very paramount in going into the cloud. We won't risk that. So it doesn't matter what version you're on, as long as you're under a current maintenance agreement. Feel free to do that. It's really easy to do. You can move your license onto one of our virtual servers, and away you go. It's pretty straightforward. So we asked, there was a duplicate question there, so we need to ask that one. Someone did mention that they're having trouble with the download, so we'll take a look at that on the TigerLogic website. I don't think there was an issue there, but we'll take a peek as well. So with that, Robert, I'd like to thank you and TigerLogic for taking the time out today to present the dashboard. I think it's going to be a great product. We're looking forward to rolling out to our customers, as we have a few that have already expressed some interest in it. So we're excited about that. And I want to thank you and then thank the users. And I apologize for the snafu on the losing Robert there. I don't know what happened, but apologize for that. And like all of our webinars, all of you that attended, that stayed on board with us, we do put you into the ring there to try to win a $25 Amazon gift card. So with that, please visit our website. We'll have this presentation up. I encourage you to get a copy of the dashboard, download it, and give it a whirl. I think you guys will have some fun with it. And Robert, terrific job, and we'll look forward to working with you guys as we go forward. So I'd like to thank everybody, and again, Robert, for your time today, and we'll see you guys next time.